Are you ready?
I sure am.
Hey, John Peckman Podcast, Connecticut Valley School of Music and Dance, beautiful downtown Portland. Come over the bridge, go I keep flipping that. Go through one set of lights. Actually, go through all the lights and keep going. Don't come here. Whatever you do, don't come here. Don't be on the show. Don't click like. Don't subscribe. Don't tell your friends. Don't have your own podcast. Don't listen to Dave tell you how.
That's like some reverse psychology right there.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm with it.
Yep. Don't send in money. You know, whatever you do. Anyway, new friend today, never met minutes ago.
It's true.
John Spignesi.
You got it, man.
Spignesi. Okay, that was smooth. Right.
I'm going to quiz you at the end. I'll ask you again.
All right, here's what I know about John. Not even how to pronounce his name. How about that?
So it can only go up from here.
That's what I'm
right?
saying.
That's why I'm looking at it.
That's what I'm saying. So give me the info. So Scott Morawski mentioned you last week.
Yep.
You want to tell me what you're doing with him?
Sure.
And then maybe that'll help us figure out.
Cool. Yeah, musician, obviously. I've been playing for 15 years or so. And Scott and I recently connected, I would say, like 10 years ago, just about, and formed kind of a friendship. And now he's producing our newest record. Yeah, right. Which is awesome.
Yeah, that is kind of cool. Who is we? You got your band?
Yeah, so it's named after me, which that's a whole story in itself. I can tell you how that happened, which is I was originally in a psychedelic band. We were called Off the Dome because we would make everything up off the top of our heads.
Sure. And this was also back when we used to say dome.
I just talked about that with somebody recently. Nobody says that, you know.
Yeah, we got this great new band, man. It's called Off the Chain. And you're like, you formed that band in 2008. I can tell you right now.
That's true.
It's
a very specific year too, you know.
I don't know.
So we were doing that, and our singer he worked in a hospital, so he worked crazy hours, so he was never able to play like the winter months, and like his schedule would always be flip flopping.
Sure.
So I was like, I want to form like a solo project, and our original bass player was like, well, I'm not going to do anything with you unless you name it after yourself. And I said, why?
Why?
And he goes, because I don't want any responsibility. I was like,
perfect.
I was like, all right, I respect that. So then Off the Dome breaks up, and now I'm stuck with a band named after myself. I'm the last person who would ever want anything like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I don't like attention like that at all. But now I'm kind of stuck with it. So
your life's going to change now. I'm just telling you. This is it.
Well, now people will pronounce my name correctly too, and all that. You know,
right.
So.
Right. Yeah. If you don't want attention, you came to the wrong place. You know, I can guarantee you
a healthy amount of attention, I guess. Right?
At least the viewers will be in the 100.
Oh,
in the 100, probably
100. Okay, I've seen them. They keep going up though.
Oh yeah, no, we're getting there. So you're a guitar player?
I am.
Okay. Where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
So Brantford originally. Lived in Portland not too long ago, right where we are here, obviously.
Yeah, right.
And then I just moved to Hamden with my wife pretty recently.
Oh, cool. That's cool. Hamden. Yeah, the rambling town of Hamden. I grew up in Wallingford, so.
Okay.
Well,
that's where my sister lives, actually.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
Yeah.
With Konopka.
That's right.
We were just talking about.
Yeah. He's a trip, man.
No.
He was talking about today coming to crash this, and I was like, please don't. I don't know if I'd be able to deal with him behind me, you know, making faces and all that, you know.
Yeah, you never know.
He's out of his mind.
Yeah, that'd be funny. That would be funny. So how did you get started in music? How did it all begin?
My dad was probably, like, I would say, the biggest influence. He inherited my grandpa's old stereo after he passed away, and it was like this huge system from the 80s, you know what I mean? The best. And one day he called me downstairs and he goes, you need to listen to this. And I was like, okay. So he goes, he's positioning you because the directional speakers, you got to be right where you need to be.
Yeah.
And he threw on Whole Lotta Love by Zeppelin. Okay. And I was like, dude, this is insane. I think I fell in love with music.
How old were you?
12.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were you listening to at that time that was so different from? Can you remember?
I wasn't really like into music, I would say, really.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Before that, I mean, I had, like what are 12-year-olds really listening to? Like the Baha Men. And
right.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But then after that, it was all like heavy metal. Like I still love metal.
Yeah.
And like I'm more, I'm in a jam band, but like songs are more important to me than anything else. Like the jam comes second. The song is always first for me.
Sure. That's cool. So A Whole Lotta Love, you're like, hey, what is this?
Yeah.
This is pretty cool.
Especially with Jimmy Page. I mean, who could not love that kind of music?
Yeah. I got, these was making the rounds. I actually don't remember where I got them. I probably shouldn't have them, but I don't remember where I got them from. but I have the individual tracks of Whole Lotta Love, the whole thing.
Like the isolated kind of thing? Wow.
One at a time. So if you put them in your DAW and line them up.
That's all. You could like remix it if you wanted to.
Remix
Did
it.
you really?
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to have to send that to me.
Yeah. There's a lot of mysteries that get solved. I mean, what you don't have, well, some of the effects got printed, but some of them didn't. So there's some things that when you hear what it actually is, you're like, that's it?
Right.
But then you add effects and reverb and all the panning.
And then it becomes the song we all know and love, right?
Yeah, but it's just kind of funny. Like when you hear it, you're just like, oh, that's weird.
Have you messed around with it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah, made my own. Yeah, and then you get to the third verse and it just drums and vocal. I just break everything down.
Yeah, right. Yeah, especially that like weird psychedelic part when Plant's doing the weird,
Yeah. It's good stuff.
It is good stuff.
It's killer. Yeah. Yeah, so I got my own version of Whole Lotta Love somewhere.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. It was fun just to, hear everything.
Right.
Yeah, Bonham.
Unbelievable.
Unreal.
He is.
Just unbelievable.
And his son ain't bad either, to tell you the truth. I just watched that DVD recently. When remember they reunited in like 07 or something like that? I can't even imagine how he must have been feeling.
Do you know John Pell? You know who that is? No, he's a drummer.
Okay.
Probably a little bit older than me. He was on the show. I had him on the show. He used to be a drummer around the scene for a while, and then he disappeared, and I never knew what happened to him. And he got into teching, and he was Jason Bonham's drum tech for that show. He was at every single rehearsal.
Wow.
And the gig right there the whole time. I mean, the stories he was telling.
I can't even imagine.
Yeah, it was outrageous. It was like only the band and the techs were in the room. And he said when they did the first rehearsal, they didn't announce or tell anybody because they didn't even know if it was even going to work.
Right.
They got together and I think he said it took them about 2 or 3 rehearsals to go, okay, yeah, we can do this.
Like we have something here, kind of. Yeah.
But he heard that, like the very first, like he was there the first time, and he said, they didn't sound that great. And then
I can't imagine. I mean,
and then they figured it out.
How many years had it been too, right?
God only knows. Probably. Especially with John Paul Jones. Probably never since Bonham.
No, I can't imagine. What a band.
Yeah, but they pulled it off. Yeah, it's pretty wild. So you went from Whole Lotta Love to where?
To like Metallica.
So you just went straight for it.
Like Iron Maiden. This is funny too. My wife I've been wanting to see Metallica my entire life. Never got a chance to see them. So my wife for my birthday this year, she bought me tickets, right? And so she goes, all right, I'm gonna go book the hotel. She goes to book the hotel. She goes, how come the hotel dates aren't lining up with the show? She bought tickets for 2024.
Oh, so you didn't go yet?
No, I'm going next summer.
Hey, that's all right.
Yeah, no, it'll be great. I got something to look forward to. But
where?
Gillette.
Oh, okay.
2 nights.
Hey, you're going both nights?
Yeah.
Oh boy,
I can't wait, man.
That's pretty wild. Yeah. No, I get it. I'm not really into Metallica, but I can imagine that would be a bucket list. How can you
again? Listen, they're in their 60s. The fact that they're still doing it, unbelievable. I gotta see like my all my heroes like that while they still can play.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Yeah. It's always good to see. I would say, I would classify Metallica as originators.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
There's something to be said for, I think, in my experience, when you see an originator, to me, it's a different perspective than seeing someone playing a genre where you're like, they're just expressing themselves. And
right.
And whatever you call it is whatever you call it. It's valuable.
It's fair to say.
Yeah. You know what I mean? To see, I like to see originators when, because it gives you a different perspective.
Especially like when you could pick up on it as an audience member when bands are just kind of like, running through the motions and like trying to sound like everyone else. Like,
Yeah.
It's been done.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. No, Metallica, they created their own.
They really did.
Yeah. That's why I say, like, not really my thing, but you can't fault it. You can't say anything about it because anybody that creates they're truly their own thing. It's like
they're pioneers.
Yeah, right.
There's
no doubt
absolutely
no doubt about that. So straight into Metallica, and then when did you decide, hey, I'm going to try and play some of this?
I would say probably like high school.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow. And I was ready for this metal band name.
Yeah.
To Floss the Teeth of Poseidon.
Oh yeah.
That was our.
Yeah.
We were great, man.
Yeah,
I mean, we played one show.
I bet.
The talent show, played one song, set all that up for one song.
Hey man.
But it was worth it.
To floss the teeth of Poseidon.
But no, I mean, it was good. And then I mean, after that, I kind of just like dove into every kind of music after that too. Like I didn't discover the Grateful Dead probably till I was like in college. And,
Oh, wow.
and all that kind of stuff too. And
Yeah.
just an appreciator of all music, you know?
Yeah. It's pretty cool. So after the one gig, the Poseidon gig, then what?
So you make it sound more epic when you say it like
Hey,
that.
man,
You know what I mean?
That's what I'm here for.
Right?
Yeah.
After that, I kind of did like the whole like solo acoustic thing for a little bit. Like
Oh, yeah?
played like a few open mics, really, you know, little
So
things.
singing right away too.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty rough in the beginning, you know, but I mean, I feel like singing is something you always need to be working at too, of course.
Yeah,
But and then Off the Dome was shortly after that.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. You got right into it.
Right into it.
So playing gigs, that was the thing.
Yeah. Yeah, always playing live. I mean, I'm at this point, I think I'm like playing almost at least 2-3 times a month.
Oh, wow.
Maybe more.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. As a solo, as the band, or both?
Mostly as the band at this point. Yeah.
That's cool.
My bassist and I, we do like duo stuff every now and then at like breweries and stuff like that, but mostly full band, especially in the summer.
Who's in your band? Give the shout outs.
Yeah, it's just a power trio. It's guitar, bass, drums, myself on guitar, Joe Jeffrey, he's on bass, and then Matt Alling is on drums.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if I know them.
All Connecticut guys, like New Haven area guys.
Yeah. That's cool.
Mm.
And what kind of stuff are you doing?
I would say it definitely is in like the more rock category.
Yeah.
A little bit like I like to say that, like, you know, some jam bands rock, but we're a rock band that jams.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So it's like I said, it's more song oriented, with that improvisational element too. But
hey, that's cool. So are you more? Were you ever in the jam band scene? Like, how did you overlap? How does that happen?
I mean, I think we are now. I would say we definitely fall into it now, especially like I think of Max Creek, like they definitely fall into maybe a little more of the rock category too as well.
Oh, really?
With certain elements of jam, of course, too. I mean, I feel like the word jam band is very subjective too.
Sure.
So.
But it's a scene.
Oh, absolutely.
So when I guess the audience or the scene decides that you're a jam band,
It's at your end.
then you
There's no escaping.
Right. I wonder what it is.
It's a really good community, honestly, I have to say, especially in like the whole New England area.
Yeah.
You know, in my experience, like people are just really receptive to it and like supportive. And,
Yeah. I think it's hard for me because I never was really in that scene. Only when I get involved with Scott or Jeff Pivar.
Guitarness, right?
Right.
I was trying to think of where I've met you. I don't think we
right.
ever officially met, but I've seen Guitarness a bunch. Have you always been their drummer?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's definitely where
Yeah, that would be me.
I was at, like Infinity Hall back in the day when they used to play there. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's funny. It's like not being part of that scene per se. I can't say that I understand it because the only reference I have is to the Grateful Dead. Or even Fish, and in my mind, whether I'm right or wrong, probably wrong, I don't see that as rock music. So it's like I don't know where the line is. So like in my mind, it's like those kinds of people, however you want to.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
But I have a nephew who, well, he's 30 by now, but he's into the jam band scene.
Okay.
And then he moved out to. Well, he was in Burlington for years, and now he's out in Boulder, so he's totally on the...
There's a strong scene out there, too, for sure, right?
And he's always into it. He's would turn me on to stuff, and then he would turn me on to things, and the last thing he kind of was like, Unc, you got to listen to this, was, King Giz.
I love King Gizzard.
And I'm like, he sent this to me, and he's like, hey, listen to this. This is a gig I went to, and I'm like, dude, this is metal.
It is.
Like, this is metal.
Yeah, 100%.
And I'm like... Do you know that? And he's like, well, I don't know. And I'm like, this is metal. And then I'm listening to, I really liked it. And I'm like, wow, this is great. And I go to look at them, and I'm like, they're just dressed like I'm old, so I still think that like you have to be part of a tribe.
Certain, yeah.
And I'm like, I'm confused. I'm like, so they're playing. It's like pretty metal, and then it's definitely rock.
Right.
And I'm like, what is cuddly about this? Like in my mind, I'm still thinking like jam band is supposed to be.
This like hippy dippy kind of, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I
and
get that.
I realize that I'm wrong in my perception.
No, because it like pulls from different genres. You know what I mean? Like
it seems like
it like bleeds over. A lot of it bleeds over.
Right. It got bigger. It pulled in a lot more than what I remember.
So that must be interesting for you when you do like guitarness and that kind of stuff, because you're coming into that world. Like
yeah, and I don't get it. They think I'm a cop. Yeah, I have like a cop vibe or something.
How do you do, fellow kids? Like that guy?
I don't know how. Well, there was years and years and years. Actually, this might tie into a guest I want to get on. But years ago, I didn't know that scene, but I played with a lot of the people that became Deep Banana Blackout before they were, and we were like just a straight up funk band. Like we were trying to be a funk band.
Yep.
And then I remember I got confused, like after I was out of that, and then they kind of reformed and became Blackout, and then blew up, and I was just like, the jam band people like funk? Like I didn't understand it.
Right.
And then that's when I first realized, I was like, it just must be me. I don't have an understanding of, and I can't.
Sounds like you do though, based on what you're saying.
But what is the one? I guess the underlying thing is
like, what is it?
You can't look like a cop.
Right. I mean, you're not showing up with like the fake dreadlocks and all that kind of stuff, right? I mean,
But I'm at the point where I'm trying to understand what makes it, because they all know that I'm not one of them somehow.
Right.
I don't know what it is.
Interesting.
Yeah, I remember I went to a gig. I mean, a lot of them knew me from way back when, and I looked different. And I don't know. I think they were playing down at a bunch of folks were playing down in Bridgeport, at the scene. And I went, they're all coming backstage, and everybody was partying and hanging out. And I like walked into the room, and everybody was, and someone comes up and says, "Can I help you?" And I'm like, "It's Peckman, it's me."
Right.
And they're like, "Oh, dude," but like they thought I was a cop.
They legitimately thought you were like undercover.
Yeah, I'm like, like they can just tell.
Right.
I'm like, what is different about me then?
But that's cool though, man. I mean, you're coming in totally different. Like, you know what I mean?
But I don't know what it. I guess what I'm saying is I don't know what it is.
Right.
So how did you get from? Maybe you can answer it. So if you're coming from Metallica,
yeah.
How do you get that Metallica stink off of you, and you get the jam band stink on you?
I don't.
What is it?
It's still there. I mean, it's still like I said, it's so. It's such
I can't figure out.
It's such a community that's so receptive that like we have many songs that like go that are definitely not like hippy dippy dancing with flowers in the garden. Like there's you know what I mean? And it's well received. I guess because of the community. I would think.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Seems like you could write a book on that.
Yeah, someone must know. They just must be able to tell somehow. Well, I haven't been high in a long, long time. I just
maybe that's it. Various party substances will get you back where you need to be.
Yeah, yeah, it could be. It might be as simple as that. I just got bored.
Yeah,
I would just. I don't feel like.
Don't get it twisted. Like me, my drummer and I, at every festival we go to, we will literally walk around from like stage to stage, and sometimes it sounds like every band is playing the same song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And of course I'm not trying to be like, oh, my band's different, because I mean, we're guilty of it too. You know what I mean? But
yeah, there must be something. I have a word that I made up that I can't figure out. I guess just because I can't swing it. I just stopped getting high because I was bored, and then I stopped. And
it's usually the other way around.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, I'm not like regular people.
I like that.
But I think that there's something. It's you're either marijuanical or you're not. And I think I'm just fundamentally not marijuanical.
I think you just inspired my next T-shirt, John. I'm telling you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Marijuanical.
You know what I mean? But you're either marijuanical or you're not. And the thing is, it's funny. Is like people are like, well, I'm like, dude, I've been marijuanical for years.
Right.
Probably long before. It's not like I'm like straight.
No.
I don't know what I did. I don't want to say I grew out of it. But
you still have an appreciation for it, it sounds like. Of course.
Yeah, no, I don't have anything against it.
No.
I just think that must be what it is. They can tell that I'm not on the marijuanical channel. And that's so if you're not marijuanical, you're law enforcement. It's one or the other.
It's one or the other.
I'm like, I'm neither.
A or
I'm
B.
Me. Yeah.
You're me. Ooh, there you go.
I'm neither one of those.
See, that's punk. Not me.
Well, okay, so but the bottom line is that is the truth, even though I think fundamentally, none of this we have to talk about you, but I do think about where the breaking line is, and even though I didn't have the most pure punk rock pedigree, I think at heart, I am punk rock.
I love punk.
Yeah, but that's my mentality.
Yeah.
I have a punk rock mentality, I think, and that must be what it is.
Absolutely.
So I don't know what that
Because
is.
who's to tell you what it is that you are to like and what you're not to like? You know what I mean? Like, especially when it comes to music. Like, I still love, my friends still make fun of me. I still love hip hop. Love
Right.
hip hop.
Sure,
like,
sure.
grew up listening to Biggie and Tupac
Right,
and
of
still
course.
will listen to, I was listening to it on the way here. You know what I
Why
mean?
not?
And
Well.
so,
Interesting. Yeah. Marijuana. But yeah, I think that must be, I think we might have figured it out that at the core, I'm punk rock, and that's what it is.
I think so. I think you may have a new rebranding here. Maybe like with your logo, you know, you get
Yeah, that must be what it is. All right. So anyway, this is actually good though, because I think we actually just figured it out.
I think we did too.
Yeah. So did that mean that Cops are punk rock? No. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now I'm confused.
Yeah. And let's not dive in too deep then. Maybe.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I'm not anything.
Which makes you punk by saying you're not anything.
See? That's what I'm saying. Okay. All right. Hey, you know what? This is good.
This is good.
I figured something
I
out.
feel good.
So there you are. You must be marijuanical, which is why you're in the thing. You don't have to answer.
Sure.
But when did you feel like you started getting traction in that scene?
In the jam band scene?
Yeah. If that's what you consider
Yeah,
yourself.
I mean, I'm still trying to gain traction.
Well,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
aren't we all?
Yeah. I would say, honestly, probably in the past few years.
Okay.
Just because, and I think in the beginning too, like, you know, we were talking this before, like you try to sound like everybody else. You know what I mean? You're like, and you're taking your influences and you're like, okay, we need to sound like this. But now I'm at the point now where I'm just like, I want to sound like me.
Well,
You know what I mean? And
I do know what you mean.
And so, like, I you know, the songs that I'm writing now, like, I was like pigeonholing myself into like has to be in the certain category. And now, like, we have a punk rock song now in our band, and we got
That's
funk.
my favorite song.
I love it.
Whatever
Called
it is.
"We Are the Freaks."
See?
About waving your freak flag high. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then obviously, you know, working on this whole album with Scott too. He was like, he's been super encouraging. He's like, add different sounds, add different things in there. Like, you don't need to, you know,
Yeah, right,
It doesn't just
right.
because he's producing, it doesn't need to sound like him either. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you know, it's funny because, like, when I met Scott, I didn't know much about Max Creek.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I knew the name, I knew that they were around. I think he was the first one I met. You know, and I since work with Mark a lot, and he's a sweetheart.
Love him.
Like, when I met Scott, I was like, Scott's attitude is kind of punk rock, which I thought was interesting because
He would love that you just said that
well,
too.
you know, because I would just in my weird mind, I would think, oh, okay, because Pivar was like, hey, we're going to do this thing with the Max Creek guy, and I just thought, oh, great, you know, it's going to be some.
Every song's gonna be 25 minutes or whatever.
Well, every song is 25 minutes. That's
Love
not
it.
That's not the problem, but I just thought, oh, this is going to be some peace and love, you know, kind of jive turkey.
No,
I gotta
no.
deal with. And it's like he's more punk rock.
Oh, yeah.
Which
That's
is
not his vibe at all.
Interesting. Well, I think what I'm getting from all this is I'm wrong. It's always me that's misjudging, which is fine. I'm just realizing that I'm like, if every expectation that you have of a thing is incorrect, then you're probably incorrect. Like it's me.
Or you are correct and everybody else is crazy.
No, I don't think that's true.
I mean, who's got the podcast here?
That's a good point. But anyway,
I'm on your side here, John.
But
you
then
know?
again, anyone can do it.
Anyone?
You can have your own podcast here in our beautiful studio. All you got to do is listen. Dave will tell you how.
Right.
There's no special qualifications. Clearly, you know. Anyway, so there you are. Is this your first album that you're making with Scott? The album that you're currently making with Scott, is that your first?
It's our 7th studio record. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we got
then take me back.
Yeah. So we've actually we were working with the same studio, God, for 6 years.
Really?
At
Where?
this point, Ace Tone Productions in Bethany, little south of here.
Yeah.
Matt Tarabile, he never had a studio. He used to have a home like a mobile studio, and he'd come to you and he tried his whole marketing was he's gonna get the best sound out of you. Like it could be in your living room, could be in your garage.
Yeah.
And I was not into that at all. I was like, call me when you get a real studio. I didn't mean it like that, of course, and then he did, and now he's got a beautiful spot, and we've been there
Oh, that's cool.
since 2017. And
Oh, wow.
And so then when I recruited Scott to help us too, I think he was super happy because he didn't have to play engineer and producer. You know what I mean? Because we already have the engineer there, right? So he was able to kind of just come in and like, recommend ideas and try different things.
Yeah.
So
almost like an advisor, kind of.
Yeah.
Almost in a way.
Right. But in a really cool way. I think I didn't really know what to expect. I mean, I know him, but I didn't know what it would be like working with him. But he's been like super helpful in the entire process and very much not trying to make it sound like him, but make it sound like me.
Who produced everything before then? Just you guys?
Yeah, just us.
Okay. And what made you feel like you wanted this one to be different?
I think the songs are a little different. They're a little more edgy, I guess, and a little more harder. Yeah. And just, especially like when you get in the habit of doing the same thing over and over, and I mean, he's coming in with a completely like unbiased opinion.
And that's what you wanted.
Right.
It's just another set of ears that does.
Right. I mean, don't get me wrong, if it's crap, like he'll literally be like, you could do better than that.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate. And I told him that from day one. I was like, please, like, don't feel like you have to be a yes man to everything either. And the same went for me too. You know what I mean? Like there's been stuff that he's recommended that I'm like,
Yeah.
So.
But you trust him.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, he's just such a great person to work with and very patient and all that too. Yeah. I'm not the most technically proficient musician by any means whatsoever, but he definitely knows how to get, I think, the best out of us.
Yeah. And what do you hope to do with this record differently? Is it just a matter of you want to learn how to present these bunch of songs differently, or are you trying to make a run to something different? And that's why you brought him in? Or just to have a different process just for the sake of it?
Yeah, I think it's a different process. I think like it's opening the door to collaboration a little more too, which we never really, we've pulled
with him.
Cool. Mark plays on the album too. He's on a couple tracks too. Okay. And then we got the horn players from West End Blend. They came in too. Okay. Like those guys are awesome. Yeah. And he's been helpful in that too. And like just, he's got such a network of people.
So he can pull in and say, what you need is,
right.
Yeah, you need this or that. Let me call him.
Right.
Hey, that's cool. And how are the other band members with that when you told them, hey, we're going to bring Scott in?
Oh, they loved it. I mean,
they're cool.
My bass player Joe is a huge Fish fan, and so like he's a fan of Mike Gordon, obviously.
So he's just like, whatever. I'll do whatever.
And our drummer is like, he's all into like prog rock and that kind of stuff, and and appreciates all different kinds of music too. And he had actually never heard, like you, he had never really listened to Creek or anything like that prior to. So
yeah,
definitely appreciates it.
Hey, that's cool. Well, that's good that they weren't like, oh, some guy's going to come in and tell us what to play.
Right. And like I said, he wasn't even like that. He would come in and he'd be like, we're going to try it. You may not like it. If you don't like it, it's okay.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? And
sure.
It's great.
That's cool. How far along are you?
So we're completely done with all the instrumental stuff. We're starting vocals probably like middle of this month.
Yeah.
Middle of August.
So you got the arrangements.
Oh yeah. Good. And that was, we've been at it since March. I think we started in March. Yeah. And it's tough with everybody's schedule, lining up and all that stuff too. And our drummer lives in New Hampshire. So he had to come down a bunch. And
are you happy with it?
Oh, I love it.
Is it much different than it would have been without Scott? Like, are you here? You're hearing the reason why?
I think so. I mean, my mentality used to be with albums like is if that it would be like you walked in the room and there we were playing for you.
Yeah.
Which is cool, but like you kind of need to separate the live from the studio stuff.
Okay. And
so I'm kind of approaching that a little more now. I think I can take it a little more seriously now with that way,
Yeah, right. Because he kind of guided you through some of that.
Right.
Yeah.
And especially like, I'm sure you know this too. Like, listen to me. Like, the average attention span of somebody is not very strong. So, what can I do to make this 3.5 minute song a journey? What can I do to make it interesting? And,
right. Huh.
And that's where all the different sounds and the different musicians and everything kind of comes in too.
So, shorter songs, punchier songs.
Yeah,
that was the idea.
Right. And then, of course, obviously, when you're live, you can stretch everything out and forget everything you did.
Yeah, exactly. That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, hey, man, that's pretty cool. Yeah, he was talking about it, a little bit. And I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. And the new studio. Well, it's probably not new anymore, but the Bethany spot is good.
Oh yeah,
It's a good spot.
yeah, it's great. It's really quiet. There's a pizza place attached to it, which is nice too. You know, go get pizza in between, and
Hey, that's pretty wild. Cool. So you're gonna just let that do what it does, and then see what's next.
yeah, I mean, I'm curious to talk to him more about like the post release strategy.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
in the past, I've literally just been like, okay, it's on Spotify. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
right,
Like,
right.
I don't know any. I mean, marketing is a whole thing in itself that I don't really. I know a little bit about it with like
Yeah.
promo. I'm big into like video and that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
but I'd love to like pick his brain more about that kind of stuff too.
Yeah,
So,
right.
which I'm sure he has knowledge on.
Yeah, yeah. Are you play festivals and that kind of thing?
Yep.
So you're somewhat plugged in.
I would say so.
You know,
Yeah,
you just
as
gotta-
much as one can be.
Yeah, right. let people know
Right.
you got a new thing.
Definitely.
That's cool. They've following you for up until now,
Yeah.
and this isn't going to be too radical a departure. It's not.
No,
like,
I wouldn't.
It's not cop.
It's not going to be.
It's not cop music. They're not going to be like what is
Cop
this?
music.
Are there cops playing on this?
I like
can
that.
tell. I can
Cop.
tell.
That's a genre.
Cop music.
It's not just bad boys, is it?
Cop rock.
Cop rock.
I'm gonna think about that, but I don't.
What would it?
I don't want to say I don't like the police.
It's like every Law and Order episode.
Yeah, but what would that be? What would cop rock be?
It's like everything's in like 4/4
Yeah.
and like doesn't stray away. Like
Yeah,
it's.
I probably wouldn't like it. I don't know.
See,
that.
there you go. That's punk, John.
Yeah, I don't even like that.
I love
don't
that.
Even the imaginary thing that I have half formed in my mind. I've
You don't like
already
it.
Rejected.
Love it.
I've rejected it already.
Dude, I'm on board.
Yeah, I was watching. This is so stupid. I remembered this. I'm trying to get myself to sit still because I'm coming off of like a gig bender, and I need to sit the hell down because I'll keep doing stuff, and I'm getting worn out.
Yep.
And I've been watching on YouTube. I remembered this when it came out. I think it came out in '95. There's like I think it's 10 episodes of like the history of rock and roll,
Okay.
like documentary.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's for the time.
Okay.
You know, it's good, but it just, you know, right from the beginning. And I love early rock and roll. I'm a big
Me too.
fan.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And a lot of great footage. It's in the 90s, a lot of the interview footage. So you're like, it's amazing. Anyway, it's amazing how many people are dead. It's
Yeah.
crazy. I'm like, dead.
Right.
Dead. But thinking of just punk rock, is there anything, not even punk, but this cracked me up so much. I told my wife, I said, you got to see this. It cracks me up. Like Alice Cooper is hilarious.
I just saw him live last
Did you
year.
really?
At the casino.
Okay.
He was awesome.
Okay, so there's a reason for all this. But they had old footage, and I can't find it on YouTube. I'm like, I got to see this whole show. But they had a thing of him doing Schools Out, and it looked like it was from the 70s.
Okay.
And he's like, I guess in a coffin or a box or something. And the box opens, and it's filled with him and balloons. So like the lid opens, and he pops out, and there's just balloons.
All flying out and everything.
Yeah, and he's got like a sword, and he just like jumps out and is immediately like hates the balloons, and he just comes out and starts, and I'm like, but you made them be there, like
Right.
what are you mad about?
Right.
Like you're mad, like I hate these balloons, and it's like, but they're yours.
Right. You
this.
caused it to be there.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh, I hate this microphone. It was so.
It's all
funny.
dramatic.
But I was like, that is punk rock.
I'll tell you, he puts on a good show.
I bet.
He really does.
I bet. I have no doubt.
Yeah, it
about
was like
that.
it was more, I guess it was more theatrical than I thought it would be. But I mean, that's his territory. You know what I mean?
That's his thing. What did he do that was wild? I mean, I just saw clips of this thing, and I was like, I want to find the show that this is from. There was like the giant puff and stuff Cyclops that
Oh yeah.
that was that there.
Yep.
It was?
And then they chopped his head off in a guillotine,
Sure.
which was crazy.
I hope so.
Yeah, it was insane. Like, and it looked. I'm not even kidding. Like, it looked pretty real. Like, honestly. And then, and of course, he goes the entire show without playing Schools Out, and then he goes off for the encore, and you're like, I wonder what he's gonna come back with. And
What is that thing? What song is that thing? I got to look it up.
the guillotine thing.
The Cyclops. No, the
Oh,
big,
God.
the big thing. And it grabs him.
Yeah.
What-
I couldn't tell you. I bet you the show's on YouTube though, because there was a bunch of.
Okay, because I got to see that. And then there was like spiders that
Yeah.
consumed him. He did all that?
Yeah, dude,
Oh, okay, all right.
It was hardcore. I'm not
So
kidding.
I
Like the
can
whole
look at a
stage
new
setup.
show and
Oh
all
yeah,
that. Okay.
the whole stage setup was like a castle setting. It was like
Great.
love it.
Maybe I'll go. Maybe I'll see it.
You should.
I should. Oh, he's hilarious.
He is hilarious, and he's still. And what is he? He's like 77,
Who the
something like
hell
that.
knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? Can you imagine? I had an older sister. I still have an older sister.
Mm-hmm.
And she was really into Alice Cooper when I was a little kid. I was so scared. Oh my God. I would just it just freaked me out. I just had no understanding of it. It was terrible.
Right.
She had the Killer record, and there's the electric chair sound and the death, and I was so scared.
We were talking about pioneers before, like that. Nobody was doing that kind of stuff, when he came out.
Yeah. But my sister, like, I would turn it off. And I would never want to hear it. And literally my parents would leave, she would be babysitting me. And as soon as the car would like leave the driveway, she would turn to me and go, "It's torture time." And put on Alice Cooper. No,
Jesus.
Turn it off. It's scary. Yeah. Imagine. I would love, I keep telling the same stories. I go, very first time I ever played in New York City with a band ever. It was nothing. It was a nothing gig. It was just some industry kind of nonsense opening for whatever at the China Club. But I left Wallingford, Connecticut, and I went down there to play one gig, and got finished playing. Nobody cared, just whatever. And I'm trying to move my drums out of the club, and I almost, standing in the crowd, knock over Paul Stanley and Alice Cooper standing there together.
Oh my God.
And I just was like, holy crap. And I just had to roll up on them. I just said, "Hi, I just want to say hi." They were very nice. Paul Stanley's like, "Nice to meet you." And I told Alice Cooper that story. I just said, "Dude, my sister used to torture me." And he's like, "Oh, good. Yep, good.
Probably
sounds great."
Probably like the fourth person to say it to him that day, honestly.
Yeah, but it was funny that I was able to like tell him, like,
that's cool.
Yeah, I used to. And he was like, "Oh, yeah, okay, good. Glad I could be of service or whatever."
Yeah, exactly. He's like, the music is doing what it should.
Oh my God, I used to get so scared. I can't even look at that album cover. I get so scared.
No, like I said, he changed things.
Yeah,
for
right?
sure.
Right. So it was a good show.
It was great.
Yeah.
It was great.
That's cool. Oh, all right. Now what? What are you doing next? You're just going to do it. You're doing the thing. You're going to wait for the record to come out.
Gonna wait for the record to come out. We
try to work it somehow.
Yep. I'm a middle school teacher, so I'm off in the summer.
Hey, that's cool. Where?
Brantford.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
The same school that I went to.
Oh, that's great.
And that my mom worked at.
Hey.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
It is cool. Yeah. She just retired, so it's like she left, I came in. You know what I mean?
Hey, it's a dynasty.
It really is.
What subject?
English is a second language.
Oh, that's cool.
So I work with all kids that like speak all different languages that are just moving here. And every day's cool. I mean, I travel from grade to grade, so it's every day is different too. I get my steps in.
Hey, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's wild. Where'd you go to school to do
that? Down in Fairfield.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Fairfield U. That's where I got my teaching certificate.
Hey, that's cool. Yeah, I would have done that. But I became a cop instead. Everybody knows that. I went to the police academy.
Especially the way you're sitting right now. You kind of have the cop kind of look,
Yes,
that's good, right?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, God. Wow.
Well, yeah, I mean, the summers, both my bassist and my drummer are also teachers too. So
wow.
we're just all off every summer, and it's just super convenient. It really
that's
is.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you got to get that record done. We got to do the vocals this month.
Yeah, I know. I was just saying that to Scott. I was like, going back soon, to which I would not like to think about. It's in like 17 days. I got to go back, but.
What's the album called? Cop Rock. John Spignesi.
How did you know?
Yeah, because I know.
Yeah.
John Spignesi.
We're kind of talking right now. We're kicking around the idea of "Prepare for Liftoff." Huh? That's the name of one of the tracks on there too. Yeah. But nothing confirmed yet. I mean, the whole album art's going to take something in its own too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. That's killer. What else do you want to? What else you want to talk about? What did you picture talking about? Is there anything that I did not touch on that you would like to?
That I would like to mention?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want you to. I mean, we're not done. Right?
No.
I just want to make sure.
No, I mean,
that I'm hitting all.
Oh yeah, I mean, we talked about punk rock, man, and Alice Cooper, and
well, yeah,
it's good. You being a cop?
Yeah, me being a cop. My secret life as a cop.
I like that.
Yeah.
That could be the title of your memoirs.
My secret life as a cop.
That's right.
Yeah.
You've just been undercover for years, and nobody had no idea.
So far undercover that not even I know. That
right. That's like deep.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. My relationship with cops, it's complicated, as I'm sure it is for everybody.
Yeah.
don't even know what to say. I don't know what can one say?
What can you say?
Not much. I don't think not really. I mean, I suppose there needs to be law and order, I imagine.
Yes. I mean, policing, I think, needs an entire reform. You know what I mean? Like,
I would agree.
Which is that's a whole nother conversation too. But
right.
It's just, I don't know.
I don't either. I don't know if we can get into that.
No.
I don't want to.
Everybody just be kind.
It's
really what
right.
It's just like cool. I'm like at the point now where I'm literally just like, come on, man. Like it's 2023. Cool. Like,
yeah, just be cool.
Grow up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, do you want everybody that thinks the exact same way as you? I don't. That sounds horrible.
Right.
Like,
right. But just be cool.
Just be cool. Accept other people. You know, and do your thing. And
I agree.
Listen to rock and roll.
I agree. Yeah, listen to rock and roll. Yeah, I agree with that. I was just gonna say something. I can't remember what because I'm too out.
Because you're thinking of your cop life and
yeah. I'm just like, yep. I gotta write tickets.
Am I good where I parked? I'm good.
Yeah. I don't know. I have to double check. Not a very heavy police presence here in Portland, Connecticut. I don't think. I think you're all right.
I lived here for years, man. I never saw one cop in this town. I swear to God. I mean, I don't know if is it the Middletown cops that are the.
I don't know.
Because this is. I mean. It is a town, but is it technically like a subsection of Middletown?
I don't think so. We'll
okay.
ask Dave when he gets here.
Yeah.
I think Portland is its own thing, but it's chill.
It is chill. I love living here. When I was working in Manchester, it was a lot easier. I mean, it was like 20 minutes.
Right,
but
the back way.
Now, like, Portland to Brantford is not ideal. So
no,
you know?
Yeah, no, that's kind of rough.
Right.
Yeah, that is rough. Hampton's perfect.
It is.
Yeah, that works out.
It's nice. It's pretty central too, and my parents are in Brantford too. So my wife's family lives in Meriden, so we're kind of like right smack dab in the middle.
There you go. Yeah. Guitar heroes.
Guitar heroes.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Like how does it all work?
I would say Dwayne Allman definitely falls on there. I love the Allman Brothers. I can't play slide like he can, but I think he's such an expressive player.
Yeah.
Always been a big fan of him. I like Django Reinhardt a lot too.
Yeah, sure.
Like that kind of like jazz and kind of stuff too.
Yeah.
Hendrix, of course.
Sure.
Jimmy Page.
Yeah.
For that reason, I mean, a whole lot of love. Come on.
Yeah, it's crazy. Are you Zeppelin hardcore?
Yeah, I mean, my dad is like probably the most hardcore Zeppelin fan. He was at that DVD that came out, The Song Remains the Same. He was at that show.
Oh wow.
Yeah, okay. He yelled at John Bonham to finish his drum solo during Moby Dick.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. My dad doesn't
like that's enough.
He doesn't like jam bands or like long songs at all, which is, I mean, he's supportive of me, of course, but like he literally was like, I hate when songs go on and on. So like, Moby Dick is like 20 minutes, him doing the solo, and he was literally said he was yelling at him, finish the song already. And I'm like, you told John Bonham to finish his drum solo?
Oh man, imagine that.
Right?
Good thing he didn't hear him.
Right?
Would have been a different movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hey, you out there?
Yeah.
What you doing?
Imagine that. What was he doing at that show?
I think he just heard it on the radio. And
I'm just saying, like Led Zeppelin is the jammiest jam band.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Time.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Think about
what an iconic show to go to, though. You know?
I can't even imagine. Yeah, that must have been crazy. Yeah, that's pretty wild. Who else?
Bands?
Yeah.
Black Sabbath.
Oh, really?
Love Sabbath.
Yeah.
I just finished Ozzy's book.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, my God.
Is it? It's funny? Yeah, I didn't read it.
Yeah, I finished his book. I just started Lemmy's book not too long ago.
Yeah, I think I read that.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
What, White Line Fever?
Yeah.
I read that.
It's one of those books where you're just like, if people see the cover of this, they're going to be like, oh.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I love Motorhead.
Me too.
I saw him. Did you see him?
No.
I saw him at Oakdale at the Dome like months before he died.
How was that?
Oh, I mean, it was great. It was what you expect, but it was the first inkling. I kind of was like,
something's off.
I kind of thought so. I mean, I like to think that I thought that before he died.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was still great, but I could just tell. I was like, oh, he's older.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, that dude lived a hard life.
Well, yeah.
You're like,
yeah. And then it wasn't too many months after that he died, and I was like, oh, thank God I was there. You know what was funny? Was have you ever seen a show at the Dome?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you can kind of get behind the stage a little bit if you want.
If you go around a certain way.
Kind of go around a certain way. And I happened to be over there for the drum solo, which was great. Mickey D, awesome.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
But I happened to be over on that side, and it was so funny. Behind the stacks, there was just a chair. And when the drum solo started, Lemmy
Just went and sat?
I watched him, and he just came around, and he just...
Chain smoking, probably, right?
Yeah,
I'm sure.
And he just was sitting there, and we were like, Lemmy, Lemmy.
Right. Nothing?
And, no, I don't think so, but he might have, like that or whatever. But he just sat there, and then I can imagine that, like, by then, I mean, Mickey D, I don't think it's completely note for note, but like any show with lighting cues, it's like when I start doing this bit,
Yeah.
it's towards the end.
Right.
And whatever happened. And then after, I could actually see Lemmy singing along, like the drum. So, and Lemmy was kind of going,
Like miming along to it, kind of? Yeah.
And then when, the big finish came up, he just kind of
Stood up and
made his way out. It was a weird, it was
interesting.
well, I'm like, what else would you
Right.
expect him to be doing?
Right.
Probably in the old days, he's like going to be blowing lines or something. But it was just funny just to see Lemmy just, awaiting. Whoops, I unplugged myself. Yeah, we're still good.
Yeah.
I can't hear anything. Oh, there we go. Just waiting.
And just hanging out.
To get plugged back in. Just kind of sitting there.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was funny. It was a weird thing to see. And then the fact that he died not long after, I was like, oh, I'm kind of glad I saw that, in a way.
And it was a good show?
Oh, yeah. No, it was really...
I love Motorhead.
It was just straight up,
Right.
The thing is, I saw them one time at Mohegan Sun at the arena, and it was... I can't remember who the third one was, but it was Megadeth, and then Motorhead went on last, okay?
Wow.
And I like Megadeth fine. But they did it the way you're supposed to do it. There was nothing on stage, not one cabinet. Everything was off stage or
Interesting.
sung with in-ears. Drummer was behind plexiglass. So it was like there's no stage sound at all. Like everything's coming out of the PA.
Wow.
So like you're watching them, but there's no music coming off the stage. So which is the way it's supposed to be, and it sounded great.
I was about to say, yeah.
Because
there's no stage volume to compete with, right?
Finally wins.
Yeah.
He's just like, if I turn this up, it's only this, and it
Right.
doesn't take anything else. And they were great, and they sounded great. And then Motorhead comes out, and it just piles of cabinets.
Oh, yeah.
You
Just so loud, too, I bet, right?
And they started playing, and I literally was like, thought for a second, I was like, is it legal to be this loud anymore? Like, I just was like, is this, you can still do this?
I guess so, huh?
And then you realize that the sound of Motorhead, at least live, is everything leaking into the vocal mic.
It is.
It just sounds
That's
like
their sound.
That's their thing.
Right.
And I just was
And
like,
super loud and, like, distorted and...
all there was to it.
Yep. And he used to sing like this, right? Right?
Yep.
Which I read, obviously, because he had stage fright, which is crazy.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
Oh,
which
that's
I'm like,
funny.
dude, you of all people had like...
So crazy. Yeah. But it was wild. But it was like just like that study in contrast. Like Megadeth is on the right track. Like they did it the way you're supposed, whatever year that was, 2015 or whatever. It's like, yeah, this is the way it's supposed to be done. And Motorhead, this is the way they're supposed to be done.
Right.
Like if Motorhead, can you imagine Lemmy wearing in-ears?
No.
No.
He probably didn't even know what they
he
were.
would snort them. He probably would. What's these?
Realistically, he was like in-ears. That's what I got my amplifier for.
I got something to put in your ear.
Which, yeah, that's true, probably.
Crazy. Yeah. But that was my Motorhead experience.
Love it.
I saw him 3 times or whatever. Yeah, it was great. It was really
His
good.
book is crazy so
Yeah,
far.
yeah.
I'm not too far into it.
He dies at the end. I don't want to give it away. No, he doesn't. Crazy. All right, you've seen the show. You know what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Desert Island albums, a handful.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah. Dark Side of the Moon.
Okay.
100%.
Yep.
Love Pink Floyd.
Yep. Very marijuanical. you know.
If I don't, I'm not gonna let you know. If I don't see this on future episodes, I'm gonna be pretty upset.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, every guy that comes in, you're gonna be like, "Are you marijuanical?"
Yeah.
There's something Zeppelin. It's got to be Zeppelin, of course. Something Dead related to, maybe Europe '72. Trying to think of what else. There's got to be a hip hop album in there too somewhere.
Yeah, right.
Maybe something by like Tupac or Biggie too.
Yeah.
I've been experimenting with that lately too in our music, like kind of combining like elements of like funk and hip hop too, which has been pretty cool too.
Why not?
Yeah.
You got to do it. Desert Island food.
Pizza, 100%. Love.
Always?
Yeah, 100%. I bought during COVID. I got one of those like pizza insulated, like the delivery guys, that they
yeah.
And so like because we were living up here and I wanted New Haven pizza, but it would get cold by the time, so I would literally take it with me, drive down to New Haven, put it in the box, drive it all the way back. I looked like an idiot. I'd bring it right into the store. Didn't care.
Yeah, who cares?
Who cares?
Yeah,
I want my pizza.
Yeah. All right. So what?
Oh, which pizza place?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's
tough.
Sally's, Pepe's, or Grand. That's
or modern, right?
Or I'm sorry, modern. Yeah, that's what I meant. That's how little I care.
That's how little you care?
Don't care.
But do you do like pizza though, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
all right. No.
Just
We can still be friends. That's
modern is like new to me.
Is it?
Just like, huh? Yeah.
Interesting.
So what's your spot?
I would say Sally's.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I like Sally's a lot.
I'm Team Sally's.
They never answer the phone.
Oh,
it's
really?
always busy.
I never call. I don't think I ever call.
We got modern recently too, which is,
it's different.
Right.
It's its own thing.
Yeah. It's all good.
No, I don't not like it. I just like my sister is modern.
Is she?
Yeah, and I'm like, no. I like I'm Team Sally's. I wouldn't sneeze on Pepe's, but
I was about to say if I got a pizza put in front of me, I'm gonna eat it.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
sure.
Like no matter where it is.
Sure. How much do you know about Wallingford? Because I made a discovery. The last couple of weeks, I decided I had to slot it in. There's a place in Wallingford called Christo's. Of course, me and my wife call it Christo's because we're punk rock assholes. And they have a thing. I guess this is a new thing. I knew they were there, and I saw it on a YouTube pizza reviewer, and I'm like, let me see what that's all about. They have this thing called a Detroit pizza. This is their thing. And we've gotten it, I think, 3 times now, and we both decided last time, I'm like, this is going in the master list.
Interesting. So what makes it different? Is it?
It's square. It's rectangular.
Okay.
And I don't know.
Is it like cooked differently too, or?
Well, Christos, as we call it, they're kind of New Haven style. Like they have that thing of like it's not burnt. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to see char.
Right.
That's the way
but it's not burnt.
As I understand
Get it on your fingers too.
That's New Haven style.
That is it, man. It is.
We know that.
Right.
And their thing is like it's not burnt. It's
interesting.
Just the way it is. So I think it's brick oven, but it's kind of it's good. I don't know how to explain.
I'm gonna try it. Hometown. I'm assuming you've been to as well in Wallingford.
Oh yeah.
You get the buffalo chicken. They drizzle the blue cheese on it.
Mm-hmm. Well, nothing wrong with that. But yeah, Christo's Detroit. That made the list.
You see, you're putting that in my head. I'm going to call and be like, is this Christos? They're going to be like, what?
I know, we're jerks. We're at the point where we can't even call it what it actually is anymore. But I decided I was like, outside of New Haven, it's not, I wouldn't put it in because it's Detroit, so it's different.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have my spot, like Napoli and Wallingford. That's my spot for Neapolitan
Love
style.
Napoli.
And then I got East Side is the Greek style.
Yep.
You get the thing. But I think Christo's with the Detroit just placed.
I have to try it.
Yeah,
we're in Wallingford pretty frequently too. So
yeah, give it a shot. I was impressed. I think they're doing a real thing. Mm-hmm. Like it's not like, hey, let's open a pizza place. It's like it's a family and
it's like legit kind of.
It's legit.
Good.
And that's the thing.
That's the way it should be.
That's the way it should be. Yeah. When it comes to pizza, I would think so.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Desert Island Food Pizza. Is there any particular show that you remember seeing of somebody else that changed your life or your trajectory?
My outlook kind of.
Yeah. That kind of made it all make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Can you think of anything? That you were like this.
I saw Bon Jovi when I was 13 with my mom. That was my first concert.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Which, it was, honestly, like, listen, I mean, he's got some cheesy stuff, but he's got some good songs too. You know what I mean?
He's a talented guy.
And especially, I think that was maybe my first experience with like seeing live music.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
So
yeah,
like, kind of like understanding how like much work goes into a show.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Where was that?
Mohegan.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I mean, as corny as it sounds, it was still impactful.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
You were like, this is what it could be.
that's what it could be. I mean,
think could be.
without the leather pants and stuff.
Now that would be something. When does
God.
when does the leather pants make it to the jam band scene? Then we'll know nothing makes sense. You know what I mean?
It could already be there. We may not know.
So I'm saying. So now we're back to. So what is the difference? You know what I mean? Like, what is the difference between it? Is it well? And then I was going to say because it's not in the mainstream, but there is no mainstream.
There is no mainstream.
anymore.
No.
There's Taylor Swift and everything
It
else.
is.
That's it.
It's
Right?
things can either be classified with that or nothing else.
Right. Huh.
It's all just good music.
Yeah. No, that's fine. Yeah.
With
Yeah. I mean, I'm slowly making my way, very slowly, because the King Giz thing is so hard to comprehend. Because
I'm glad you're getting into them though. They're a really good band. I got into it only recently, but
I dig what I heard.
Yeah.
And the first thing I heard, it was a live show, and it just comes on so rock. I'm like, oh, this is great. Because the thing is, well, I mean, you would know because you're tuned into the jam band scene, but old guys like me who came up like rock dudes just love to say, oh, there's no rock music. And I'm
Right.
like, no, there's rock music.
100%.
Not.
People that say that are just like ignorant because they're like, oh, it was so good back in the 70s. It's like, there's still good music now. You got to look for it, which arguably it's easier to look for because we have the internet now.
Well, that was kind of, like I say, when I heard King Giz, I just thought, this is rock music. Right here.
100%.
I don't care. Then you better tell them that there's no rock music.
Right.
Because they're doing it.
Correct.
So, like, if you want to hear rock music, just listen to it. That's what, maybe this is kind of the point. But with King Giz, I'm kind of like, whatever you are kind of into, they have a slice of it. You can just tune in and be like, okay, there it is.
And that's the mark of a good band right there. You know what I mean?
Right.
That can kind of like, I mean, essentially that's marketing. You're marketing your music to a whole different audience and different types of people.
Just by following you.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I dig it. Yeah, I don't have any problem with that. My nephew's always like, you got to come out. You got to come out. Because he lives near Red Rock. So he goes, I just saw King Gizzard 5 nights in a row or whatever. You got to come out.
Is that how he talks?
Yeah, he talks just like that. And I'm like, dude, I will, but I'm not doing drugs. Dude, I'm 56 years old. I'm not going to do DMT at King Giz.
And King Giz, right. I mean, you'll come back with the dreadlocks we were talking about before.
Right.
And,
then finally, and then even if I did that,
people will really think you're a
they'd be
cop.
like, look, there's a cop with dreads. Nothing would never. Yeah, nothing would ever. Yeah. All right, that's funny. Dave, we were talking about Portland. Does Portland actually have a police force?
Yes.
Oh, they do.
They do.
Yeah.
Okay. I said that in all the years I lived here, I never once saw a Portland police officer.
Yeah, we have 12 officers.
No, that makes sense.
And it's
And none of them are ever on duty.
never. And
Well,
it's
one of
not-
them's right here. No.
Not part. Yeah, one of them's here. They're not part of Middletown.
No.
So-
We have an interlocal agreement with Middletown. If we need help, they call and they come over. It works both ways.
Right.
Interesting.
When when Spignesi's here, they got to call in the Middletown troops.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
You know,
that does make sense.
back in town.
Yeah. All right. Well, oh no, I know why you left. Saying why did you leave? Because from here to Brantford was too much.
It was a lot. I mean, I loved living here. I really did. I liked it. It was super quiet. It was great.
I love it here.
I used to joke with my friends. I was like, in New Haven, you worry about getting hit by a car. In Portland, you worry about getting hit by a quad.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, there were people just like whizzing up and down my neighborhood all the time.
I like Portland. When we moved, we ended up in Berlin, which is not far, but Portland was on the list.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we looked at houses here.
Beautiful.
Yeah, why not? Shout out to Portland.
Love it.
Yeah, yeah. All right, well, we could go. Is there anything that we didn't cover that you want to cover? Just onwards and upwards.
Onwards and upwards, man.
Yeah.
Keep playing music.
Look
and
for the record.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah.
And, try to market it and do what we can with it.
Yeah, that's cool. Do what Scott tells you.
Within reason,
Yeah,
of course. Yeah.
Oh, no,
He would, if you told him that too, he'd be like, "Don't listen to me."
No, I know.
Yeah.
I know. Of course.
But no, honestly,
he's the coolest.
He's very great to work with. I got nothing but good things to say.
I bet. Yeah, that would be an experience. Cool.
We got to play some music or something sometime too, man.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
I'm around. Yeah.
Please.
I only play cop rock.
Yeah, we were talking about that before too. Cop rock. We don't know what that would really consist
We're
of.
trying to start a new kind of music called cop rock. Yeah, cop rock.
Bad boys, man.
That's
Right, that's it.
That's
One
what I
song.
did. That's it. One set, 40 minutes
Yeah.
of just Bad
Yeah,
Boys.
That one song. Yeah. Yeah, you heard it here first here, folks. All right, I'm going to press the button. Are you sure we're good? Are you sure?
I think we're good.
Okay. All right, cool. All right, here I go. John Spignesi. Right?
You got it.
I got it. Okay. He was here. Listen for his new album produced by Scott Morawski, produced by of Max Creek. Look for it. His power trio, the John Spignesi power trio. Not really, but anyway.
You're close.
Yeah, close enough. John Peckman podcast. Come across the valley. Go through the lights under the cops around the donut. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I know. Dave will tell you how to have your very own podcast. If you listen after this is over, he'll tell you how. And we're gonna keep it rolling. We got more people on deck. John Spignesi, thank you for reaching out. We got this done.
Thanks for having me, man. Seriously.
You got it. Drive safe. Be careful in this town.
I will.
You know? All right. That is all, kids. That is all.
If you'd like to start your own podcast, give us a call at Connecticut Valley School of Music and Dance. Our professionally designed podcast space is here for all your recording needs. Rent out our studio to do interviews with up to 4 people, to record audiobooks, social media content, and all other recorded material. Our rentals include a private studio along with our professional-grade podcasting equipment, and we can customize your output to whatever your needs are. We also have green screen capabilities, which will expand to video capability if you so wish. So check us out here at convalley.net/podcast.